Here's our job for today. I don't know if this is going to take 1 day or 2. I'm by myself. But we are doing custom railings. We're going to take out this existing railing and we're going to put up our white vinyl railings. It's going to look real nice, but there is obviously some challenges with that, which is mainly attaching to concrete. Always a little bit of a challenge in certain cases. And the other thing is we're dealing with these columns. We're not taking these out. These are Permacast columns. They are made of a fiberglass reinforced concrete cement, like a fiber cement kind of thing. And they're about 3/16 of an inch thick. And I did check with the manufacturer. We are able to actually screw our railings directly into those. So that's going to make it nice. I think that the difficulty here is going to be getting the existing railing out. I have the grinder, I have the cutoff saw if we need it, and we're going to work on taking those out. And then as soon as we do that, we're going to start doing layout. The layout is going to be very difficult because the skirts are such a large profile here, so high, way too high for us. So we're going to have to actually bump up the concrete height with a piece of trim, because that is way too high to put a railing on there. And then we'll figure it out from there. So the other challenge we're going to have is with the stair railing, because your post is going to be like somewhere back here. So it's like you're supposed to be 1.5 inches away from the edge of your step in order to put your post on, so your stair railing can make that angle. We don't have that here because we got to be all the way back here. So somewhere in here. So we're gonna figure that out too. I haven't quite figured that out yet, but once these upper posts are in, then we'll figure out what we need to do on the bottom. So let's get it. Let's see how it goes. Let's see how we do. That railing is extremely heavy. See if I can do this without cutting it. That one released. That one released. This corner one is not releasing. Let's see if we can twist that maybe. That's not light. There you go. Wow, that's heavy. Okay. Nice. So it's tubular, which is good. What we'll do is I have another concrete bit, grinding bit, and it can also cut metal, and we'll be able to cut there and get this down flush. So we'll be good to go. This one. Holy crap. Well, that's not great. Guess someone's gonna have to power wash this when it's done, full of water. No wonder it rusted. That is pretty disgusting. Eesh. I guess this one will be the same way. That's disgusting. Wow. And these aren't that old. You can see they're already rusting. It's like, that is actually insane. See the battery, but I killed that battery. It's still got 3 bars. Makita, impressive. Okay, now we need to cut these flush or slightly below flush, and then we can patch the concrete. Let's go. Good God. It's gonna melt something. So there we go. And then we just gotta repair this a little bit, but that's gonna be what we wanna do the whole way down. Get these grinded off, and then we're gonna be good to go. All right, so we got these out. Now I have actually a metal polishing blade kind of thing. It's not really a blade, but just like a steel deepening, grinding, polishing, flap disc. Yeah, flapper wheel, some guys call it. And we could actually use that to finish this. Here's one I just did, but that's like insanely perfect. Now we'll test on here, show you. That's perfect right there. We're not done with that either. That's not the finished product, but it's just, we're just getting as close as we can before we actually finish the thing. All right, so that's those. Look how nice those look. I'm not going to bore you with the rest of them, but I'm going to polish those down, and then we're going to do one more thing to really get those 100% finished. All right, so we got all these grinded down. They look really nice. They're just slightly recessed below the flush height of this, so that's really nice. Now what I'm doing here is I'm actually just going to slightly fill these indentations with construction adhesive, and which is this stuff right here. And this bonds to concrete very, very well. I might have people screaming at me in the comment section to use a concrete patch, and I thought about that. My concern is that so the old railings are already oxidizing, and by that I just mean rusting. And when it rusts, the metal rusts, obviously it expands, and it can actually chip out very thin concrete around it. So like, let's say I covered this with like an 1/8 inch or, you know, a 1/4 inch of concrete patch, and then this metal under here is going to get wet, it is going to oxidize, it is going to rust in the future because it's raw. Even the painted one was rusting. That was the old railing. It's only been in there a few years, it's already rusting, right? So if that rusts, if I put a concrete patch, it's just gonna, I feel like it's just gonna chip out. Maybe not, but that's what I think. Now the good news is about both this and the concrete patch, because it's so thin, if one of these fails, simple enough actually to just use the grinder, the flapper wheel, the same flapper wheel, and you can actually clean that up, and then we can try using the concrete patch. So it is really, I mean, it's permanent, but it's not. You know, we could get that out if we need to. So fortunately they used a very, very aggressive broom finish. So this almost does match that, and then I'm still going to come back and paint that white, and that's going to be mostly hidden. So it's also going to be partially underneath the railing, because the railing is going to be like right here. So it's going to be partially underneath it, and I think we're going to be all right with it mostly hidden. Unfortunately, I don't think I'm going to be able to hide the entire thing. But again, I'm just kind of putting this on, and I'm just going to undo the plunger so it doesn't push out, but if it does, you want it to drip where our next one's going to go, which is right there. And I'm just going to kind of pull it around with my finger and just make it look nice. But it binds to the concrete. This is made for block, so it does bind to the concrete very, very well. And it's over top that that metal, so I'm just kind of trying to match the brush marks of the concrete, and I think that's going to be fine, just like that. So I'm going to go through all these next ones. There's a lot here. I'm going to patch all those, and then once those are actually patched, then we're actually going to be able to start putting on our railings, and we'll see how that goes. I do think that the railing is actually going to be relatively easy, these sections, but I think that the stair is definitely going to give me a run for my money in terms of difficulty. I think those stair sections are going to be quite difficult. So we'll see how it goes. I mean, it's going to be a very, very unusual angle on these stairs, because the post is so far back. I mean, it's back to here. So actually, maybe these will be covered. We'll see about that. But you know, it's back to here, and I'm interested to see how far forward we have to go to make that up, to get that angle, because otherwise the bottom of that stair railing is going to hit this concrete, and it's going to be such a steep angle. Now the other option I could maybe do is I could maybe put this post out further to try to make that angle a little more shallow. Maybe that's an option too, as opposed to putting it, because normally your post would go like right here, like as if this was the top of a tread. You'd have your post would be right about approximately in here. But if you have that angle, you're going to be up to here, and my bracket's going to be all the way up here, which I cannot do that on this. It's going to be way too tall. So maybe what I'll do is I'll bring this post out here and then kind of adjust that angle. That's probably the plan, actually. I think that'll work out. So we'll see, but let's get there first. First thing we're going to do is we're going to glue up all these, make those look hidden, and then we'll start laying out the railing. Stay tuned. All right, we're ready to get started here. So we got everything out, and we're going to start putting on the railing. So we have to do this section of railing first and that section of railing first, because that's going to dictate the heights for our posts that we're going to anchor down. We don't know yet how tall they need to be. Well, let's actually open one up. Let's do it live. Here's your standard composite post. It's going to go somewhere right here, okay? Approximately, maybe right here. I don't know yet. Here. With my luck, actually, it's going to land right where this was, so hopefully not, but we'll figure it out if it does. So we don't know the heights of this and this yet. We don't know where it needs to go until we get these two railing sections in to dictate what we need to do. This has holes on the bottom. It can just anchor 3/8 inch anchors, and we put it in, so it goes right on the concrete. The concrete is nowhere near plumber level. It doesn't actually look too bad, but we'll wedge it. It comes with wedges, but I have wedges, obviously, and we're gonna wedge that thing. We're gonna get it perfect, and then we're gonna be good to go. So we can't put these on because we don't know the heights. So in order to figure out the heights, let's put this railing section on. We can't put the railing section on until we put the baseboard on. Reason being, we actually are going to need to check. We need actually the measurements of this base plate here. Let's just use the square, I guess. This is a very, very large skirt, okay? And the railing has to rest on top of it. Here's the bracket we're going to use. This is a top bracket turned upside down because I want to be as low as I can on here. This is a true bottom bracket, but the problem is it adds that extra 3/4 of an inch. I want to be as low as we can get, so I'm just going to use a top bracket flipped upside down, and we're just going to put that right there like that, okay? So we need to know, though, what this measurement is from here to here, and we also need to know what the measurement is from the skirt out. So in order to do that, you just do this, and then you just measure over, and it's 1 7/16, okay? Check it on the other side too, just to see. Maybe the concrete was out of plumb a little bit. It's 1 7/16. Okay, so let's just write that down. We got this right here. Let's not touch that. Those aren't dry yet. So side thickness 1 7/16 of an inch. Now you need to know the height. Check the height right here, and we'll see what that is. It's probably about 4.5. It is actually it's a solid 4 1/4 right there. But again, this post might be out of plumb, so because if the post's out of plumb, it's gonna take the square out of square, and then our measurement's gonna be off. So let's put this one here. It's a solid 4 1/4, okay? So skirt height 4 1/4, which you can't do that, because when you have a railing system, the maximum spacing you can have on any opening is 4 inches. So this isn't a deck, but we still want to do it obviously to code, so we're gonna reduce that. And this is actually what you do on screened in porches too. You basically are going to put a baseboard plate in, okay? So we're going to cut this. This is a 5/4 piece of 1 by 4, and I think it's a little bit thinner than these. Yeah, see, that's like probably an 1/8 total thinner, but this is not gonna. You're not going to see those right next to each other, so that's fine. But that's going to be on the bottom, okay? And then on the bottom of our railing, we have these little things that are going to help support the railing in the intermediate locations, and those push up, and I think that's the maximum there because you don't want to see that space there. What is that? 3.5. So when we reduce this, because this thickness of this board is 1 inch thick exactly, you're taking that from 4.25 to 3.25, and then this will be able to bridge that gap, and it's going to sit on there like that, and it's going to support the bottom of that railing. Although the bottom of the railing does have aluminum in it, both top and bottom have aluminum, but this really helps a lot in case like a kid steps on it, you know, and bends down in the middle. So so first thing we need to do, we got to install this here, and then we got to do the one on the other side, which means we're going to measure and cut it. Let's do it. So in order to get a measurement in between, I want to measure pretty much where, like, I don't want to measure out here and go across. I want to actually be inside, in between the posts, but it's kind of hard to measure kind of inside something. I'm going to show you what I mean. So it's going to be in like somewhere in here. By the way, the railing, like I said, it's not going to be in the center of this. It's going to be out here. The thickness of these are called Permacast Columns. They're structural, load bearing, but they're hollow. They're made of I think a fiber cement. I think it's got fiberglass in it and cement mix, and they are hollow. The thickness of it is it's like about 1/4 or maybe like 3/16. So we're just gonna put this here and just have that little reveal, nice even reveal there. That's also gonna give them a lot more porch space too. But the main reason for that is when you have your post out here, if I was in the middle of this, my railing post here would be all the way back here. That's in the middle. And there is no way I can make that angle here. Let's use this as an example. It's actually not horrible, to be quite honest. But really that post is supposed to be, this post that's down here is going to be actually right here. But we want to basically make it so when you're, just like when you're building a deck, this is only 1.5 inches from the front of this. Now we're not gonna be able to do that here, but we want to have as much space as we possibly can, so we want to bump that forward as much as possible. I think I got, no, I was gonna say I thought I got a little bit of adhesive on the bottom there. Stay down. Again, we're gonna paint over that, and they're gonna be mostly covered too, so that'll look nice. But for now, no touch. We want to have basically as steep of a railing angle as possible because you don't want it to interfere with the concrete here. I think it's going to work out, so let's see what happens. All right, so anyway, as I was saying, your measurement here, I'm going to show you why this can get a little weird. I don't know exactly what this measurement is. It looks like it's probably 105 3/4, but I don't want to measure from the very outside of the post in case these posts, by the way, are not put in, they're not plumb and they are not level, and they, like, whoever installed these, and they really don't move very much because they're bearing a load, so they might be twisted slightly. We want this to be exact, so here's what we're going to do. We're going to measure here. We're going to come over 10 to right here, mark that 10. And now I'm going to come in here, I'm going to measure that, and I'm just going to add 10. Simple math. It is 95 7/8 plus 10. So it's 105 7/8. 95 7/8 plus 10 equals 105 7/8. Okay. So let's cut this to 105 7/8. And actually, since we only have 2 of these, we cannot mess this cut up. We're gonna measure it again, just to be 100% sure. I've made that mistake. You do not want to make that mistake. So 95 7/8, 105 7/8. I'm gonna cut the line just to give it a little bit of room. With a 1/16 small on each side, I don't really care. But you want it to be pretty tight. Let's see if it fits. It fits perfectly. Okay, so there's our bottom plate, and it is going to be recessed back slightly to the same amount as where our railing is going to be. Now this is where we need that measurement for that skirt. The side thickness was 1 7/16. Then we're putting our bracket in right here. Wow, that is not plumb, but we can figure it out. Okay. What is that amount? Burn it. Let's burn an inch. It's like a 3/16. So for the measurement for this, where this mark is, you add this and then you just add 3/16, which is 1 10/16, which is 1 5/8. So you pull over, you go 1 5/8, and then that's where, actually it's already sitting there, funny enough. That's 1 5/8, okay? Now, this side, same thing. 1 5/8, oops, right here, come on. That goes right there. And that way, that's on there. And then this is actually going to be right in the middle of this, and that's going to sit on there like that. Like that. It actually could even go back another about a 1/16 actually, and I'll probably do that because remember the bracket is bigger than this by about a little more than an 1/8. So actually what we're going to do, we're even just going to move that back further. I'm just going to mark right there. I'll be able to take that out. Of course I've made that like that, and I'll be able to take that out with some cleaner, but you want that to be like right there. So, and that way it's truly in the middle of where we want to be, like this. So let's say you translate that down, it's going to be like right there, and now that's perfectly in the middle for that to sit on that. We're going to be good. This is going to be choice. Okay, now we got to anchor this down to the concrete. We're going to use glue and Tapcons. So we got our hammer drill right here to mark our holes, and then we got some Tapcons here. I believe these are T25. I think what I'm going to do, I think I'm going to glue it first so it doesn't move, and then I'm going to put the Tapcons in. I mean, it still could potentially move when I put the glue on, but so, you know, put a Tapcon here, put a Tapcon here. And I think these actually may have come in white. I definitely should have done that because now I'm gonna have to go back and paint the heads, but no big deal. It's just touch-up paint, only takes 5 minutes. So it's gonna be like this, right? And you'll put that there and there. And we'll probably just do maybe like 8 screws on this. Maybe I'll stagger them like here, 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 right? And then same thing over there. We have 25, and then we'll just do like 6 in that section there. This I'm not gonna put any whiteboard, any piece of whiteboard here. I don't really think it's that critical. It's mainly to support that skirt drop thing. I mean, yeah, we got to be less than you have to have less than a 4-inch spacing, but that's only in an area where your railing is, or where your deck height is more than 30 inches above the ground, which in this case it is not, especially because he actually needs to bring in dirt here and fill this in. So I'm not too worried about the 4.5-inch space, 4.25-inch spacing right here in that one little 1-foot section where it's only this high off the ground. So we're only doing that there, there, and there. It does not need it there, so we're gonna be good to go. So let's, first thing we should do, actually, you should always do this when you're doing whiteboard, clean it and make sure you have the good side, because once you glue it, there is no coming back. You don't want anything that's scuffed, like that little scuff. It's gonna come off with the sponge. Most stuff's gonna come off with the sponge. You just wanna make sure really it's not scratched. Okay. Now you can see the majority of these are going to be covered, as you can see where that goes. So no big deal. Okay, so we got the right side. Let's get some glue on this thing. And that's not a ton of glue in this tube. We got our mark. I guess the other thing we should do as well, this board could potentially be warped, right? Because it's just whiteboard. It can bend one way or the other. We want to pull off the edge of this concrete, or I guess I'll go right here and check, and that is about 5 and change, right? See what it is over here. Oh man. Who poured this? What? Look how over the line. This is they used a permanent line, chalk here. This is way over that. Well, nothing I can do about that. I'm not just gonna bump the post. I can't move the post. We're in the right spot, right? Yep. That goes there. I like it. I'll bump it back a little more, but that's probably the most I can do. There, I would say. Wow. So that is 4 1/8. Oh my goodness. This porch ain't porch square at all. That's 5 1/8. An inch off over 8 feet. So this should be 4 1/2, right? That is. Okay, so we're good. We just mark that line right there, so we know, because we're taking this out, obviously, and we don't want the board to bend one way or the other. That's really funny. I'm just gonna glue it right in the middle. That way, when it screws down with the Tapcons, the glue won't push out the sides. So, here we go. I'm just gonna roll it in. Come on. Bang. I don't know what's going on there. Right there. Right there. Okay, we're on our mark right there. Good. Now, did that push out? Oh, it scared me. It's just a leaf. Hang on. I want to be pro. Okay, let's see how that does. Thank God there's only 3 pieces of this. So note to self, don't overdrive these. Or we'll just shear the thing off. Got it. That went in nice. Okay. I really cleared it. So let's see. Of course, it's also bouncing out really badly. It's weird. Stand by. It's not biting. Why? Dust in the way? Okay, let's try again. That one went in fine. Draw it tight. Oh, love it, honestly. Like, look how much nice dust is coming out of that. That means we're really... pulling a lot of dust out of there, which means this screw should fit in good. Okay. Let's go. There's dust coming out of it. I can see there's dust coming out of it. There's still stuff in the way here. So that's what it is. Not all the dust is coming out. Yeah, that's it. So, okay, so you just have to go really, really slowly. That's actually already really tight. I think, actually, that's probably all it needs. 3 screws? We'll do 3 more. But it's tight. Like, that does not move. Holy crap, that is tight. That's surprising. Once you get that glue on there too, that glue adds a ton of strength. And then that'll clean up with the sponge. So we're good, we're good, we're good. So I see what's happening. Check this out. I figured it out. When I'm putting this in, these threads, because these threads are very slightly bigger than the drill bit, right? Check this out. See, it's very slightly bigger, if you can see that. You're talking about a 1/16 of an inch total, not on each side either. But it's bigger. When I put this in, you can hear the drill impacting, right? What it's doing, the screws are knocking loose more concrete, which is going into the bottom of the hole. And when more concrete dust is going in the bottom of the hole, it's not allowing this to go down all the way. So you just have to basically keep anchoring this. See that now? It's hammering again, even though I just did that, because there's concrete dust at the bottom of the hole. And that dust has to come out. See, it needs, I know I still have to countersink it too. Let's just do that. Okay. Again. I think that is what's going on. So now put that in. I did it. So yes, that's what's happening. All right, so we're good. Probably just do 2 more. Probably just do like 1 in the middle here, 1 in the middle here. I think we'll be good. There it is. So 1 more. All right, let's go. That's gonna do it, man. That's gonna do it. I don't want to overdrive that. That's about the maximum it's gonna go. So we're glued, we're screwed. Now we just are gonna, let's put this to the side because that had that nasty glue on it. Give it like a new rag here. Clean it. Oh wow. Okay, see if that'll come off with the sponge. I don't know if it will, but I'm gonna try. It's just a little bit of that color. Yeah, not an issue. Okay, nice. Oh yeah, not even visible. A little more. Okay. Nice, look at that. And you could always finish it at the very top. If these end up drying and recessing down a hair, you can finish it at the top with that PVC cement, and then it is like exact, and that'll never come out either, which is nice. Which we'll probably end up doing at the very end, after everything's done. But that does look really nice. All right.